And thank you to all our first responders for your service to the people of Boston.
All right, hey, everybody. Thank you for stopping by, answering the call, the official podcast of the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association. As always, my name is Jamie Kenneally, alongside the Presidente of the BPPA, Larry Calderone. Larry, what's good, buddy?
All is well, Jamie. Thank you much again for being here, for doing this and what you do every day.
Yeah, I thank you for, once again, always accepting the invitation to appear on the show.
Let's break each other's backs by the pounding. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, lots to get to. Big news coming out of the Union Hall. We'll get to that in just a second. Some endorsement news. But as always, Larry, we like to begin the show with some much-deserved love and appreciation for the hard work being done by the dedicated men and women of the Boston Police Department.
Yeah, you want to start the show every time by thanking the men and women out there in the Patrolmen's Association and beyond, the bosses, detectives, etc. But mainly for our men and women, they're out there working day and night. And although it might be getting a little bit easier with the ordering during the, what I'll say is the off season, the winter season, undoubtedly it's going to be a very busy spring, summer, fall again. And we have a couple of classes coming, a little bit of relief to help. But thank you for all you do, and hopefully, I'm not naive. The union leadership and union itself doesn't make all members happy every day of the week, but we strive to do that, and we try to make life better for them and their families every day.
And I got to say, safest big city in America, one of the safest big cities in America, Larry, all the time, you're reminding folks that, listen, the credit for that certainly goes to the hardworking men and women of the BPPA.
You're going to hear that a lot today. We're going to talk about those of us and many that are saying how Boston is the safest or one of the safest in the entire country. And it's something to be proud of, because you can't be a safe city if it isn't due to the men and women on the street.
Right. So. No questions about where the credit should go. All right. So the big news coming out of the Union Hall, a recent vote was taken to endorse the incumbent mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu. What can you tell us? I think most people know by now, Larry, but did she get the endorsement?
Yes, she did. Very proud to say that overwhelmingly last night, the BPPA House of Reps overwhelmingly endorsed the mayor for the election coming up in November, and rightfully so. We should have, and we should be one of the first responder groups out there doing so, and I believe we are. I believe we're the first.
Well, let's get to the pro and the con, because obviously there's some people who would tell you endorsing her was a no-brainer, especially under the contract, but there were some who said we should stay out of it. We shouldn't endorse. The obvious question, why did we?
Well, first off, the reason why we did is because it's good for our men and women, and it's good for their families. Yep. Why is it good? Because the mayor delivered the best contract in the history of our organization. And you and I have been around 3 decades. We've been around for a handful of mayors. Pros and cons to all of them. But none of them were able to deliver what Mayor Wu has delivered our men and women. And do we deserve it? Absolutely. Should we have received it a long time ago? Absolutely, we should have. But we didn't. So when the sitting mayor of the city, who delivered the greatest contract in the history of your group, asked you for the endorsement, which is something we would not have thought would have happened in the past, absolutely you give it to her. It's smart politics, and it's good for our members.
Good strategy, smart politics. You don't have to like it, but you can't dislike the money that she gave to us. But you touched on something. Why did we endorse? And I want you to elaborate. She called you up and asked for it.
Yes, I mean, that's how it
kind
goes.
Of a big deal.
Yeah, sorry. Some things I take for granted, Jamie, you do in the job I used to do in the political arena. Listen, we don't give endorsements to people unless they ask for it. The sitting mayor has reached out and said, hey, would your group consider endorsing me for the mayoral election? That's a no-brainer. I went back, I talked to the House of Reps, leadership team discussed it, and in the House, like I said, overwhelmingly voted for it. Why? Because it's in the best interest of our men and women and their families. You give back to those that give to you, and undoubtedly, this mayor has delivered. For the people maybe that are listening that are not members of the BPPA, she delivered a Transitional Career Award payment, known as the TCAP, something that's been enjoyed by others in the city of Boston.
Something a lot of people said you couldn't get.
Well, thank you.
No, I'm just saying.
No,
but
I know.
That was part of the bargain. People said there's no way you're going to get the TCAP. Well, guess what? We did. That by itself is a huge deal, but wait, there's more.
It's a huge deal, right? Yeah, the Career Incentive Award Program is a huge deal for our members. It's something we should have received way back in the late 80s, early 90s when our brothers and sisters across the street received that benefit. So on top of that, though, you have a mayor that for the first time in the history of this union has tied our public safety detail rate to our contract. And not only in tying it to it, we never again have to negotiate that rate with the commissioner. Now, no offense to Commissioner Cox that's here, but so some previous commissioners, it was very difficult to get a pay raise in the public safety detail rate. It would always...
There's always a fight, quid pro quo.
Yeah,
this way, I mean, it's done.
Well, it always cost us something extra that we shouldn't have to give up. Yep. Here, this mayor gave it to us.
And let me just real quick, in a short amount of time, we went from what, 47 an hour roughly?
46
to 60 to 84?
84 and a quarter.
I mean, that's pretty I mean, that's incredible. That's pretty impressive.
We went from the third lowest paid police department in the Commonwealth to the highest paid police department in the Commonwealth. And I could go on and on. I'm not done.
No, but again, I mean, we know the work you did, but I think people lose sight of the fact that you needed someone who would partner with you. Okay? You made the case, and she was on the other side of the table and said, makes sense to me, let's make that deal. You said it before, no other mayor has given us the contract that she did. That's worth something.
Yeah, I would hope that people listening, and I know our members get it already, but people that do listen to the podcast, you need a willing partner on the other side of the table that really wants to negotiate a fair deal. And if you look back in the mayor's press conference, myself, her, and the commissioner, the mayor said it very well. Neither side got everything they wanted, but both sides got a lot that they wanted. And you can't achieve what we did with the mayor without a willing partner on that side of the table. And she delivered it. For the first time in 3 decades, we got full retro pay on the 2.5 years of an expired contract. You and I have been around 30 plus years. We have never received full retro pay. It was always a cheap signing bonus or a zero.
Right.
Which,
it was always capped. And even though we know what retro is monies owed, that it's monies that they owe us because when we were out of contract, it's monies that they owe when the contract catches up. But again, that by itself, a full retro payment is huge.
Well, I think that's why people need to listen to this and really let it sink in. The TCAP by itself had extreme value. Yeah. Full retroactive pay for monies that were owed to us that we traditionally wouldn't receive.
Never got.
We got it.
Yep.
The almost doubling of the public safety detail rate. Let's talk about parental leave. Other unions in this city enjoyed parental leave. It should have been given to us. We should have had it mayors ago, but we didn't. So, for anybody that's upset or disagrees or thinks that we shouldn't have done it, I ask you to listen to everything that we just said and everything that this mayor did. And then this mayor calls us and says, hey, would you back me? This is a no-brainer. You support those who support you. This mayor's been in our corner for the last 4 years. We absolutely did the right thing.
She showed us the money, but not only just the contract. I mean, I know my time at City Hall, anytime some of the members of the city council try to take money out of our budget, every time they try to take it out, she put it back in.
Well, yeah.
Right? I mean, again, standing up for us. Again, you can have your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. The brick, they said she was going to tear it down. She did the opposite. Every chance she's had to stand up for us, and I'll let you elaborate more, but the mayor, Michelle Wu, the candidate, is not Michelle Wu, the mayor. She's come a long way as it relates to how she treats us, no doubt.
Undoubtedly. Look, any new mayor that comes into office has some bumps or some relationships that might need repair. So we were in an extremely difficult time back in 2020-21. You had the pandemic, we had the riots, we had
George Floyd.
We was going to say we had the
police.
We had the murder of George Floyd. I mean, there was a lot of animosity towards policing. But look at Boston now. Look at Boston throughout that animosity. We are the safest city in America. We are not Minnesota. I've been on here before talking about George Floyd. We thankfully have a very professional, educated, well-paid police department, and we prove it every day. We're the poster child for community policing, and that's what we do, and we do it the best in the country.
Yep, national standard.
And when I say we, I mean you and I aren't out there doing it anymore. It's the men and women we represent. Yep. And this mayor has done nothing but stand in our corner and defend what we've been doing. You're right. When she was a counselor, there was a lot of rhetoric around Floyd and defunding the police.
Yep.
She comes in as mayor. This city council tried to take tens of millions of dollars out of the police budget. Mayor Wu put it back in. Mayor Wu also talked in a campaign trail, I believe, about the brick unit, the gang unit, and what has happened. She's been mayor. She recognizes the value of both of those institutions. Yep. The gang unit itself took a record number of guns off the street. Kudos to our men and women in the gang unit. They do an extremely dangerous job, as we all do, but they're in the thick of it. Record number of guns in a gang unit, still here because of this mayor. A brick unit that not only is not dismantled, but more funding to the brick unit. A city council that, yeah, they like to try and take money from the police budget. Michelle puts it back.
She's had none of it.
Come on, it's no brainer. She's been with us since day one.
Well, and you look at it too. Let's go back in the time machine 4 years ago. It was Michelle versus Anissa. Anissa was the pro-public safety candidate. Michelle didn't want the endorsement, but guess what? Either did Anissa. We've come a long way in 4 years, and I think anybody who doesn't think that Michelle Wu has changed and learned to appreciate and value us, I would respectfully disagree.
Yeah, I mean, great point. Here's a sitting mayor that neither her or the opposing candidate wanted the endorsement 4 years ago. The last endorsements we gave were to Mayor Marty Walsh at the time.
Twice.
You know how I feel about Marty. I love Marty Walsh. Great guy. Good mayor. Yeah, we can argue about whether he should have done things differently, give us more. Yeah, fine. But this mayor has delivered. And this mayor is now asking us for the endorsement. And the House of Representatives did the smart thing. They did the right thing. Yep. They did right by our members and their family. And hopefully our voting and our families' voting push her over the top again. And we continue this great working relationship we have serving the citizens of Boston.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, did she earn it? I think the case is pretty obvious. And again, why did we do it? She asked for it. Pretty simple. Real quick, the endorsement process itself, I'm sure some of our listeners have questions, but is that you? Endorsement request comes in and you say, yep, you got it? Or is there a vote? House of Reps involved? What's the process look like?
Nope, pretty thorough process. Great question. Again, some things we take for granted, you and I, or maybe the leadership team. But if you're a new candidate and the BPPA doesn't know you, we ask for a questionnaire to be filled out. Yep. If you're a sitting incumbent, and we've already had these conversations, and your actions have actually defined who you are, which the mayor has, there's no questionnaire. But no, I do not make the decision as the president. As the president, I received that call. I talk to the leadership team. I bring you into the circle at the same time. Hey, how are the politics been? Anything we need to worry about? And then when we make our determination that, hey, she asked for it, we bring it to the House of Reps. And the 45 members of the House of Reps that represent approximately 1,600 men and women on the street, they get together, we talk about it, and they give the endorsement, which is what they did overwhelmingly last night.
And again, the question, there's not a lot of questions, but has this elected official helped us, and have we benefited, and has the membership benefited as a result of actions taken by the said elected official? And there's no question, as we just went through, Mayor Michelle Wu passes that test with flying colors.
She's been great, and I hope she continues to do so.
Was it a close vote? I know you can't get into numbers, or
No.
just suffice to say.
No, sorry. Sorry as I chuckle, but no, it was not a close vote. It was an overwhelming support of the request for endorsement. So I thank the men and women of the House again for making the right decision.
And again, Larry, just real quick too, to those who say, and I've heard it before, she hates cops. She hates cops. I know it's a silly question, but just address it to me, please.
I get we have some people that want to make up their own facts, but it's just not true. And I love to say for myself, hey, judge me by my actions. Forget about the rumors. Forget about what the guy, the lawyer in the guard room wants to say. Judge people by their actions. And the mayor's actions have proven time and time again that she's in our corner, has been in our corner, whether it's an officer getting tragically injured, she's there. Whether it's collective bargaining agreement, she's there. Whether it's a defunding movement, she's there. Parental leave. The brick again. We can go on and on talking about it in nauseum, which we're probably doing right now.
But I think we have to, because I know there were some people like literally asking, "What has she done?"
Well, if they can't listen to the last 11 minutes of the podcast on what the mayor has delivered and done for them, then maybe they're just not listening.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Or look at your paycheck if you're really trying to figure out what she's done. And again, you just said a TCAP full retro, one of the highest detail rates of the state. She asked for it, and I think we all agree she earned it. So you don't have to like her.
Don't forget parental leave. Big thing that we should have had a long time ago, and she gave it to us.
All right, last quick, and again, I think you touched on it, but I think a big point too. You're the guy. You're our chief negotiator when it comes to the contracts. And when the chief negotiator says, "Hey, listen, from a purely strategic or strategy point of view, this endorsement makes sense. It obviously helps us as we head into the next contract or next negotiations." Can you elaborate on that? Does it grease the skids, create goodwill? How does it help?
Yeah. I very rarely we ever hear me say grease the skids. I don't like that because, I'm not trying to offend you with it, of course, but working relationships is how you get collective bargaining agreements done. You and I both occupy seats on the statewide Joint Labor Management Committee. We negotiate contracts for other police organizations that can't get it done. And how do you do that? By having two open-minded people sitting on opposite sides of the table, trying to trade asset for asset. And that's what negotiations are. It's a give and take on both sides of the table. So greasing the skids, hey, listen, does it help?
Laying the groundwork.
Does it help with the relationship?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look just in our own past. It's very easy to give the middle finger to the person asking you for the endorsement, for the person that's treated you poorly in the past. That's the easy part of being president. The hard part is actually trying to navigate the waters from the members that don't want you to do it, or the members that might be too scared and say, we should just stay out of it. Listen, I've been doing this for almost 30 years,
Staying
right?
out isn't enough.
I've been a rep for over 25. I've been in your seat, VP president. How do you get deals done? I just showed you how with our team. We just delivered a great contract, and we're watching the iron workers, the carpenters, the laborers. We're back in with the Greater Boston Labor Council. We're watching the firefighters. We're involved in every facet of labor in the Commonwealth, and it's always the same answer. Form a good relationship with the team that you have to negotiate with, and sometimes that means an endorsement. It's easy to fight. It's easy to take jabs and go in the public and say, you know what she did to us? But you know what? She hasn't done anything other than support us, give us money, settle good contracts, and ask for an endorsement. So, but you talk about contract. Let's talk about where we're going, because we're up in June 30th.
Well, so you answered that question. Expires in June. Obviously, members are wondering what we're going to be pushing for, fighting for. What are some of the issues that you see will be on the table? And what if members want to weigh in? How can they do that? But just if you can answer the first question first, what are some of the bigger issues that we're going to try to go after?
Well, a great part of the way we handle it, and I say we, the leadership team, bargaining team, is we ask the members what they want. So, simply, it's always wages. Everybody needs to pay bills. Everybody wants a wage increase. Yeah, show me the money. So wages are always on the table. But how are we going to handle this negotiation? The same way we did it 4 years ago. We're going to ask the members what's most important to them. So I'm going to say, get your pens ready, because what we are doing a little differently this time is, instead of just asking the House of Reps to talk to the members and bring back their wants, we actually have a dedicated email address. Perfect. So for any member that has a want, a comment, a suggestion, please send it to bppabargaining@bppa.org. Once again, BPPA bargaining, all one word, at bppa.org. And you'll be able to send us what you want, your comment is, whatever suggestion you might have. We will then, when it's been decided by the House to close the time period that email address will be open, we will then put all of those requests and comments verbatim into a survey. Same system we used last time, online SurveyMonkey, dedicated portal, secure portal. We'll send it out. Members will only get to vote one time. We'll then tally that vote, hand it out, everything transparent, just like last time.
Well, transparency and inclusion, that's been the calling card.
Yeah, we will hand it out to the House of Representatives to give back to the members, and whatever those top 10, 15 items are going to be, that's our starting point. It's good for everybody to understand the bargaining process, especially our younger officers. You don't get everything you want, but if you don't take part in the survey, then when you and I go to the stations, or the leadership teams are at the stations, we're going to say, hey, did you take part in the survey? Because if not, you really shouldn't be complaining to us. Take part in your organization and its process.
Let your voice be heard. And again, Larry, that email, BPPA bargaining, BARGAINING, BPPA bargaining at bppa.org. I couldn't agree more. If you want to be part of the process, please weigh in and let us know what you think. All right, couple other quick issues to get to before we say goodbye. Latest on central booking.
Yeah, so leadership team, some bargaining members, some grievance members just had a walkthrough at the Nashua Street Jail. We were able to clear up a few problems that we saw that existed there. For the fact that we're on a radio show and maybe non-police officers are listening to this, we'll pick and choose what we're going to say here. But we were able to fix a couple of issues that were detrimental to the health and safety of our officers and the correction officers there, as well as the guest or the clients that are in the building.
The clients, that's how they refer to them. The clients.
So we were able to fix a few things. We were able to work with labor relations who were there with us and the jail guards and their supervision. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Like anything that the department does, these big overhauls, whether it's the public safety detail system, there's going to be problems. There's going to be bumps in the road. So we're going to have to work through them. And it's going to take cooperation by our members and by the department when they're doing something that puts our members in harm's way or the general public in harm's way. You bet your bottom dollar that, we're going to have something to say about it. And I say it like that because you and I are both out on the street. And reality is we do have members that are like, when are you going to fight? When are you going to fight back? And we fight back every day that we're down the Union Hall. Just because you don't see us in the paper, you don't hear us screaming, We're not at roll call burning the building down. The sky isn't falling. You negotiate. You call people. You call a superintendent. You have dialogue and you talk. But that is fighting. Yep. The matter of what does the fight look like to you? Well, that's a difference of opinion. But we're fighting every day, and we're making positive changes to keep people safe. That's the important part. So it's a work in progress, but it is coming. There's going to be bumps in the road. And, hey, if a member sees something or if something's out of whack or something's concerning, call me directly. Yep. Call you directly. Call a leadership member. Let's make sure we know what's going on.
Not sure how much you can get into, but to make that assignment attractive, is there anything members have asked for or we're going to focus and push for?
Yes, that's limited as we want to be as transparent as possible, but we also don't want to hurt the chances of success at the table. But
conversations ongoing.
Conversations are ongoing. We understand that Superior Officers Federation has had a similar request and labor dialogue. So I think we're on the same page with the Federation. I think that what the Federation members and what the BPPA members want coexist together, and hopefully we'll be successful.
Yeah, I think, okay.
It's the best I can do.
We all like a good schedule, but we're not going to get into that today.
Yeah.
Other issues real quick, Larry. Taser implementation. What can you tell our members about that?
Yeah, so the department, I know it sounds like a shot when I say 15 years later, but the department has finally got around to purchasing tasers. They purchased, I believe, about 1,500 tasers. They have them in storage. They're going to start deploying them to all rank and file that are out on the street, some faster than others. Of course, that's understood. We met with labor relations on the implementation of the new piece of equipment, and I say it specifically like that so that members remember and understand the whole issue with body-worn cameras. Yep. Taser is a piece of equipment. The department has made the decision that they're going to put it on us. They absolutely have the right to do that. What they are doing is sitting down and discussing the change in the working condition, where it's going to go on your duty belt, how it's going to affect the health of your body itself. We're hoping that we're going to be able to negotiate the use of a vest carrier.
Yeah.
A lot of our officers on the street.
Not a lot of room on the belts.
Not a lot of room on the belt. A lot of weight on the waist.
Yep.
A lot of bad things happen to your back and your hips. So some officers are out there. What we have been able to successfully negotiate with labor relations, at least so I'm told, but if somebody hears differently or somebody listens to this and I'm wrong, please call me. We're told through labor relations that no one has been disciplined or brought up on charges for wearing a vest carrier that has not yet been authorized. They're letting people wear them. What we're hoping to secure is a vest carrier approved by the department for officers to wear at their convenience. So if we can secure a vest carrier along with the taser,
it'll go a long way.
It'll go a long way. So I'm fairly confident that is where we're going with tasers. But we meet again next Tuesday on the policy, so there'll be more to come.
Okay. Last but not least, new development as it relates to how we hand out or assign public safety details. What can you tell us about that issue?
Yeah, I can tell a little bit about that. We've been reporting to the House of Reps the last couple of months again that City Hall has put out their request for proposals. They're breaking down the new implementation of the safety detail system. Excuse me. First request for proposal is for a company that is going to handle and process the online implementation. What does that mean? A handheld device. It's going to be on an app. Yep. It's going to be centralized out of one location. All jobs are going to be input into a computer system where you're going to have it just like many other departments. You're going to be able to okay yourself to work. Yeah, Sheriff's Department. You're going to have to okay yourself that you want to work. Jobs are going to appear. You're going to see them. You're going to see where you are. So that first company is in the process that I understand very shortly, maybe in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. The city will have chosen a company to perform that obligation. The second
4 to 6 weeks, they'll choose the company. Yep. Then how long before they roll it out?
Of course, I don't speak for the department or write policy or anything, but coming out of headquarters, they're hoping to have this implemented in the next 3 to 6 months. So sometime from now through the summer.
Always subject to change, but okay.
Yep, always subject to change. But in the next few months, we should be hearing something more about the implementation. Second half of that RFP process is the company that will follow our contract for the extra details that are not filled once the patrol officers and the Federation members have the opportunity to choose their work. Those extra details or unfilled details will walk their way down the hierarchy in the CBA that we have. So I'm told that very shortly we will see a policy from the commissioner, stage 3 in our contract for retirees. Superfluous details will go to the retirees. From there, they'll move on to campus school police officers.
Universities,
And at some point in time, if there are jobs left, they will go to a civilian workforce. That is the second RFP by City Hall, which they have not. They posted it, but I don't believe they've interviewed any companies yet. I could be wrong, but I haven't been told they have. That company will be responsible for hiring, training, doing background checks of a civilian workforce. So that's where that's going to come in, and there'll be more to report. But that's a lot of info. I get it.
That's a lot. Yeah,
but it's a two-step process, and one step at a time. Members
out there, as you know, eager to see how this thing unfolds. So appreciate the information.
Well, if I could tell you, that's it's a great tie-in to the endorsement and to the changes at the collective bargaining table that we hope to make. We make a deal with the city of Boston, as you know, but for everyone, we make a deal with the city of Boston. And then the Boston Police Department, i.e. the commissioner and team, they need to follow the contract.
Enforce it.
And the problems that we do have are not with the city of Boston. They're not with the mayor. They're with the police commissioner and his command staff.
Implementation.
Yeah. And they want to implement based upon what they interpret the contract to be. And that's really not how the process goes. So we're going to have, again, I'll use that word fighting because some of our members say, hey, when are we fighting?
Some clarification.
So we're going to get some clarification on what the interpretation means. We believe we know what it means. Yep. They're interpreting it a different way. So at the contract table, we're going to clean up some of the educational mishaps, right? There are people out there with great educations that aren't receiving that pay benefit. There's pay detail questions about who should be on the list, where it should come from, what the implementation looks like. We're hoping to clean that up at the table. Along with that, we're looking for wages, benefits, better working conditions, and whatever the members want. So there's a lot to do with this upcoming negotiation. Not going to happen overnight. But definitely puts us in a better position, the same friendly working relationship with City Hall that we had the first time, and we hope to be extremely victorious like we were last time.
Yeah, I mean, if the last one is any indication of what's to come, let's hope and pray you hit it out of the park again. But
well, we're going to do the best that we can for the members. The bargaining team is dedicated, newly elected by the House of Reps, so we got a few new players at the table. Well represented. People should know as they're listening, our bargaining team is made up of the president, the vice president, a member from Area E, a member from Area D, and Area B this time around. So well represented for the workforce throughout the city. Undoubtedly, we will work as hard as we can to deliver the best product.
Awesome. All right. I guess just before we wrap up, last word to you, Larry.
All I have to say is what we usually say. Hey, be safe out there. Be careful. We ask you, Support your brother and sister next to you. Support your families, and work hard every day to make our union a stronger union, because the union is not the leadership. It's not your House of Reps. The union is you, the rank and file officer out on the street. You're supporting your reps. You're supporting your leadership. They, in turn, are supporting you. And it should be one strong, happy family succeeding every day that we can. So be safe out there and continue the good work.
All right, Larry, on that note, that's a wrap. To all those listening, we appreciate you stopping by, answering the call, the official podcast of the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association. As always, he's Larry Calderone. I'm Jamie Kenneally. Till next time, stay safe, everybody.